Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of Seven Toe Joe. It's crazy Craigslist finds today. We have found for low price of $20 this old non-working 50cc scooter. That's the lowest price I ever seen one for before in my life. And I've tested out the brake levers and the throttle cable. Those all work. The wheels hold air. So all in all, not bad for 20 bucks. This ignition right here, they didn't have the key. So that was kind of jerry-rigged in there, and I don't think the batteries were good either. And there was no kickstart on it, so I've ordered a kit to replace that. So the goal for this is just, it was basically sold for parts. I'm just going to see if I can get it running and put around the yard on it, around our trails. It's going to be some interesting drifting action with those smooth tires. But until I get a new engine on my mini bike, that's going to have to be our project. So let's see. I've never worked on one of these before. I'm going to see if I can get a $20 50cc scooter running. Take off this front panel and show you where it's been hot wired basically. Oh, where's my screw bolt? Gotta have somewhere to throw all the screws and bolts we take off. Front panel. Those are actually kind of thick in there a bit. So apparently the story of this thing is there were a bunch of drug addicts living in a drug house, and they got cleared out of there and just decided to leave this behind because it wasn't running. So here's a closer look at the wires. That's where the old ignition was, where they didn't have the key. And I've got what they said to do is just hot wire the black and red wire together there. And I'm going to try grabbing a battery from my riding mower and put it on there and see if I can get started with a few tricks from the interwebs. Alright, so I got this battery out of my riding mower. It's a 12 volt battery, just like the ones they're supposed to put in these things. A little bit big, but we're going to try it out. That lead might be bad. I know there were sparks coming off of this thing at one point. I just didn't realize that I had to, hold the brake lever down. That's the last thing I learned about these things. Because I eventually want one that's in decent shape that I can get an insurance on and drive it around the roads here. But this is our prototype, first model. Alright, so the red and black wires need to touch each other. The kill switch cannot be activated. Then you pull the brake lever. Nothing happened. Nothing at all. Now I hear there's a way you can bypass this, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think there's some kind of post under the seat here. Let's try pushing this thing around a little bit. So the initial hot wiring diagram ain't doing anything to it. We're gonna try. What about? It ain't good to lay these batteries down. There we go. We had a spark. So hold the brake. I don't know where that wire came from. Apparently, there's some sort of place you can short it out under the seat. I'm thinking these are going to be those Chinese bolts. So we're going to need our metric kit. Handy pistol grip terminator thing. That's what I call a bucket seat. There we go. This looks like the connection I was looking for this whole time. It's supposed to short circuit the battery straight to the starter motor. So, yeah, I know it's hard to see exactly where I'm working past all of that plastic. So that is the part you need to hot wire together to get to override the ignition motor or the starter, whatever you want to call it. You got to hot wire those two bolts right there together with a piece of metal, and if the battery's hooked up and the ignition is hot wired, you can go straight between those, and you don't even have to have the rest of the electronics hooked up. Like they always say, safety first. It's only a 12-volt battery. What's the worst that could happen? Woo! That was a big spark! I heard it. I heard the starter motor. Oh yeah, it's running! It's running! A $20 scooter! It's running! I never would have guessed that actually worked! It's a $20 scooter on craigslist. Hogging down a little bit, so I might need the carburetor cleaned. It's actually turning the wheel. Oh yeah! Don't need to top off of the gas. But those people didn't know you could just start it out and start the motor. Time to go for a ride with 7 Jojo. Remember to like and subscribe.